So this little interesting dialogue going on between Kim and Liz is rather interesting because as you can see at the bottom the subtitles are in Dutch. So what happened was a viewer from the Netherlands decided to translate this all the way on Reddit. And to be honest with you, I was hella surprised. I don't know if I was surprised more because of Liz or more because of Jamal. But either way, let's get into it. So it says here, I live in the Netherlands. So we're a bit behind, but apparently Liz and Jamal went on a date. And maybe I'm crazy, but does Liz low-key look like Kim? Than her own mother? Was just wondering if anybody else can see it too. But I'm not really here about the comparison between her and Kim. I'm here for the conversation about Liz and Jamal going on a date. Now here's the thing. It surprised me more because I don't know why Jamal would want Big Ed seconds. I don't know why any man would want to be with Liz knowing that Ed was her ex, knowing that Ed was the person that was sliding in there. Yeah, that is yuckers. Uckers, yuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So that was quite interesting to be fair. And I do wonder though, so obviously if they did go on a date, what happened? You know, why did it not go any further? Or did it go further and we just don't know about it? I mean, obviously I was assuming it didn't go any further because, well, we'd obviously know about it. Now, of course, here, to be honest, some of the comments here were quite interesting. So in particular, I kind of love that Kimberly has a natural vibe towards Liz. I mean, listen, let's be honest with you. I feel like any woman that comes in and that is nice to her and that is nice to her son, Kimberly's always going to be that person because she probably wants her son to be with somebody that she likes as well. You know what I mean? Somebody that she can also get along with. Somebody that she can also see has a daughter. You know what I mean? And even as a bestie too, with the same kind of way, because we know that her relationship with her son isn't just a mother-son relationship. It's also a relationship based on her son also being her best friend as well. Okay? Now here it does say that I read somewhere subconsciously we look for partners who resemble partners, a part of our parents. Don't know how much truth is behind it, but makes sense. Liz is too good for that guy though. He's the worst. Ah, boy. Let me read the last one before I give my comments in this one itself in particular. I read that before, also recognizing in potential partners for similar physical features to ourselves. That's why you see a lot of couples who look like they look like they could be siblings. There must be something to it. I don't know. Here's the thing. I've known about this, and this is something that is generally a fact. Okay, and it's something that I definitely notice in women that are daddy's girls and in men that are mama's boys. Okay, women that are daddy's girls who look up to their dad, who literally worship the dad. Their dad is the hero. Their dad is the everything. Every quality that they look in the man, they look for it. They want to make sure that man has exactly the same quality as their fathers. Okay, some women are very, very much aware of this and they openly admit it, and then some women not so much aware of it and don't admit it. Okay, and the same thing for men too. Okay, a lot of men who are mama's boys they'll always be looking for a woman who can fill in their mum's role. Okay, a woman that can pretty much treat them as if they are pretty much their son in a weird, funky way. All right, and this is something that a lot of women are aware of. Okay, and some women obviously enjoy and want to be with a man who's a mama's boy because they want to have the role of looking after him in that capacity. You see what I'm saying? So it is 1000% a thing, and that's why we have shows like I Love a Mama's Boy. The only thing is though, with those shows are out there to give us the insight of if a mama's boy is with somebody who is with a female that doesn't necessarily represent the mom's quality, because obviously it's all about entertainment, isn't it, really and truly, right? But generally speaking, this is what happens, okay? And this is why you get a lot of women who then have reviews on their relationship with a mama's boy saying, yeah, I had to get up, I had to do this, I had to do that. Generally speaking, a mama's boy is probably built more for the traditional, or should I say old school type of a housewife, if anything, do you know what I mean, okay? And then of course we have the daughters who obviously are raised by their fathers, who are raised to be tough, who are raised to be strong, who are raised to be independent, and who are raised to understand their value and their worth. And those women look for a man that's going to respect every single one of those values that were instilled into them by their fathers, okay? So it is 1000% a thing, and this is why 100% you do get a lot of couples that do look alike. Now, to be fair with you, I've only ever known about it in the psychological side of things, obviously looking for the traits that their parents have, not necessarily in the appearance of their parents. Now, that is something that I haven't necessarily come across in terms of a conversation with anyone, but I will say that I've definitely come across a lot of couples that hella look alike. You know, that's something that I've seen over the years. I mean, listen, I had a friend when I was younger, and his mum and dad literally looked like siblings. And we used to joke about how him and his brother were literally inbreds because of how similar their parents looked. You know what I mean? So, and to be fair, as time's gone on, I've definitely seen a lot of couples who look alike. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of the same as saying that some dog owners literally look like their dogs. You know what I mean? Like there is that stigma too, which also is a legit fact as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of truth being said here. And to be fair, given the fact that we've got a scene here of Kimberly and Liz pretty much rocking the exact same hairstyle, both rocking literally highlights as well, just like Kimberly's is a bit more different, yep, to Liz's, you know what I mean? And, like, even the way they're eating is kind of similar, to be fair. I'm pretty sure if Kim was sitting down on that chair the same as Liz, body posture, to be fair, their body posture is actually quite similar, to be fair, despite the fact they're sitting quite differently. So, to be honest with you, I can definitely see why somebody has obviously picked up that these two do look alike, and then also why someone has obviously put the two and two together, saying that there are people out there who do look for, partners who are very similar to their parents, both mentally as well as physically too. And to be fair, we all know how close Jamal is with his mum. Their relationship is obviously airtight, so therefore I wouldn't be surprised. But as you can see, a lot of people are saying that Jamal is trash and he is the worst. For me personally, like I said before, I feel like really and truly, if you're looking at the fact that a lot of people don't like Jamal anymore, a lot of people are looking at him as somebody that is still young, immature, and annoying. Liz needs an emotional, mature man in her life, blah, blah, blah. Well, look at it this way. If Jamal's always been there by his mum's side, he's also been there for her experiences or whatnot. If Liz has some of these things, if Liz is somebody who needs, okay, look at say, Liz may benefit from having a man like him because maybe she wants to actually look after her mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And if she has one of those traits, then to be fair, it could work. But either way, though, a lot of people aren't exactly keen on this idea purely because they dislike Jamal. I never thought I'd come to a comment section where people are against Liz personally. To be honest, if it's been a minute since I've seen one of those. But I think for me personally, those two would probably deserve each other because one, Liz is somebody that's been with Big Ed, and Jamal, just as just out of just calm or whatever, he might as well have Big Ed's seconds just for that purpose. I mean, to be fair though, but could their relationship work? Probably not, because here's the thing. Somebody says here, Kimberly will hook that useless two of a son with anyone he went out with Veronica at one point. And this is the thing as well, to be honest with you. Veronica probably had the same traits of, but I think with Veronica, her being, and I don't want to give like a stigma or generalize, but I think her being a Latina, even though she may have traits of being able to be a woman that can look after a guy in the mama's boy kind of role, at the same time that she's a woman that also wants a man to step up. She also wants a man to actually be a man at times, you know what I mean? So that's why Veronica and Jamal probably was never going to be a match, because we saw how Veronica obviously could have her moments where she would just like flip the script, and just lose her shit. And Jamal's way of handling and he's putting his foot down wasn't exactly, what's the term I'm looking for here? This is probably the wrong term, but I'm going to use it anyway as an alternative. But it wasn't masculine enough, because I feel like a woman of Veronica, even though she can step into that role of being with somebody that is a mama's boy and kind of taking that, somewhat of a traditional role, whatever, of looking after someone with that kind of, half housewife kind of half, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, though, this is a woman that's obviously worked for a while. She's obviously raised a kid, obviously, you know what I mean? Obviously with the assistance of Tim, whatever, but at the same time, she's always going to have that fiery side where even if she can be that role, she's still going to want the man to be able to step in sometimes and let her know that she needs to calm down, just what I'm saying. Jamal doesn't really have that. That's why Liz probably would be a better fit, because Liz, on the other hand, well, she's a complete pushover. I mean, let's be real, she's a pushover. Otherwise, how the hell did she last with Big Ed for such a long time? So that's why Liz will probably be a better match, and that's why him and Veronica probably didn't work, because Veronica definitely needs more of a, a masculine man's man, which that surprised me how her and Tim did last as long as they did. But then again, at the same time, though, Tim does have a way of himself where he does stand on business if he needs to, you know what I mean? So to be fair, it probably does make sense why her and Tim did work for the duration that they did work for, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, let me know exactly what you're thinking down below. I thought this was quite interesting, to be honest with you, because now we're actually dissecting two different women and which one would work better for Jamal. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Jamal would have a complete different opinion, but it would be very interesting to see if Liz was to actually chime in and she was to let us know her thoughts on the matter. If one, did they actually go on a date based on what's referenced here? And two, is Jamal the kind of person that she could see herself being with? That would be very interesting to hear, But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.